to know that birds have shadows these days. Hey, we're in the open.
Good morning.
Stroll in the stroll with you. Oh,
How you doing, sir?
Have you seen
Welcome,
any Martians?
Gnomes of the Midnight Tribe.
going over to New York.
Welcome back to the Gnome Show.
Guys alive with their lights. The people are still living. Daylight
I hope.
speaking. 5 days ago, carried something big across the
Things are
sky.
busy over here, sir. Like
Things
just
are learning how to fly.
lots of
Yeah.
things going on. Life is lifing. You know, it's good. I'm like it's nothing to complain about. Like it's good things. It's just a lot of moving parts these days.
Those green stars, they're probably falling somewhere every night. They've only lost one machine. There isn't anything to do.
You ever been working on a project and you've got just like some sheets of paper with a whole bunch of numbers, and you're kind of flying by the seat of your pants, hoping, praying that this all works out the right way.
Martian only has to go a few miles to get a crowd on the run. They won't keep on doing that. They'll begin catching them systematically, keeping the best, storing it in case. They haven't begun on it yet. Not begun. All that's happened so far is because we don't have sense enough to keep
Got
quiet.
a
Bothering
new
such stuff
pillow,
in our heads and rushing off in crowds.
and the chair I have is nice, but the spine support, like the straight up and down support's not all that great on it. So I've got a pillow that helps keep my back straight. Makes my shoulders hurt, but my shoulders have been hurting for a little bit anyway. Got a grenade for a little ways into our cast.
Bred like an ox. What's going on?
These
Right
pillows.
under the
There is safety in mindfulness.
men. And we don't know enough. We gotta learn plenty before
There's
we gotta we gotta
Mr.
live. We learn, see?
Fox with his
Thought it all out, see?
useful
All of it.
quips.
Wild beast. That's what it gotta be. That's why I watch it. Watch the news. All those are lost.
That's
live in these houses. They be no good. They haven't any stuff in them. Run off to where the 300 of them running to catch their community train in the morning. Afraid that you can if they do.
So we're gonna do a dab before we get underway.
Time for them. Live.
Yeah, always a different adventure, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Worried about the giraffe.
if it's not one facet of life,
Nice
uh,
good food.
having an existential,
Yeah,
I do have my, yes,
chasing around the field.
having an existential
They'll come.
moment, it's another.
I didn't know.
But I have come to appreciate
Brain of blue bricks.
being busy,
Who knows? Get sentimental.
And,
Grew up and had to be killed.
being someone that
So trained to
people
hunt us.
want you around and want your time. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying?
Bye.
In the meantime, you and I and others like it. Where are we to live? The Martians own the Earth.
Live underground.
I'm one of those people. I crave domesticity. I like
And they want their big
being domestic with my partner.
underground story.
That means a lot of things, but I like
Got a bunch of strong men together. No weak.
I like doing homie stuff with her. Like, and you know, like I like the whole couple thing.
You were fan.
I'm not used to a lot of that, and
Places for us to stay in.
I'm here, at your back.
it's
That's where men
it
like you
feels different. Like, you know, like she's not like this isn't.
spy on the market.
This is more than a girlfriend. This
Imagine
is
so much we have to learn.
you know, we're not really big on marriage, but like
Just imagine this.
she don't want.
4 or 5 of their own
Same.
fighting machines suddenly start off. Heat rays right and left.
So,
Not a
like,
Martian in.
that's
Not a
been
Martian in.
a big motivator for me.
Men who've learned the way out. Maybe in our time. Imagine having
She
one of them
informs a lot of my life and
They turn it on
definitely
Martians, it turns on
influences some of the
That's your plan.
business choices that I've made.
I see.
You know, just having her considerations for her in mind has been a sort of guiding principle.
Bye, stranger.
Being able to get her the things that she needs without having to go across creation and making sure that the quality of said
Cautiously, I came out of the tunnel and made my way up Canal Street.
items she needs is
Again,
there. You know, we you know, we,
people, ominous
you know,
smells,
you want quality stuff, meds, you know.
wandered up to the
Smoke.
30s and 40s, stood alone on Times Square. Caught sight of a lean dog running down
It's
7th
been
Avenue.
one of those
Brown feet,
driving forces.
starving monster.
Yeah.
Made a wide circle around it, yet I grew fresh and competitive. Walked up Broadway.
I am entrenched in the culture, the business, the business of the business. I'm very deeply entrenched these days, and I'm trying to take advantage of that with the chances that I've been given.
1939 motor cars in the showroom.
So, there's a lot of things going on.
General Motors building, I watched a flock of black birds circling the sky.
As you are doing, sir, with your film house, I'm making moves in my house.
Same idea. I rushed recklessly across Columbus Circle
And hopefully I can translate some of those moves here.
From there I could see standing in a silent row along the mall 19
But,
of those great
you know,
metal titans, their cowls
like the
empty,
first
their
steps are being
neurons
taken
Though
now.
we may seem safe for the moment, it is fleeting.
I even have,
Suddenly my eyes were attracted to the immense flock of black birds that hovered directly below me. They circled on the ground. And there before my eyes
some of my design work for branding and whatnot
lay
down.
the Martians with the hungry birds pecking and tearing brown shreds of flesh. And dead bodies. Later, when the bodies were examined in laboratories, we found that they were killed by the putrefactive and disease bacteria against which they were fed. Brain, after all, man sent to fail.
And there's,
God.
I have good friends, good people to help me get on my feet,
There was
business-wise.
general persuasion through all the DC space. No life existed beyond the petty surface of our minute sphere.
I can get in and get my hands dirty and
Now
everything.
we see further. Vision I've conjured up in my mind of life spreading slowly from this little seed.
But enough of that.
solar system
Tonight,
throughout the
we're going to
inanimate
be moving
vastnesses of
on
sidereal space.
with our excursion through the DC wasteland, finishing up all those locations across the map that are in the vanilla game.
Strangers out here to sit in my peaceful study. Princeton.
Let's push Fox out the door.
God.
It's good to see you alive and well, sir.
She does, she's a very supportive girl.
All of us here thank you for... It's the best... No.
Tina kept on public view. Strange when I recall a time when I first saw it.
Okay, it is daytime.
Clean cut,
So,
hard, silent. With a door.
I have the gas relay station. We've still got a number of things up here. Probably want to just go ahead and do this string of locations. We can just take care of this whole group. Without too much fuss.
This is Orson Welles, ladies and gentlemen. Out of character, to assure you that the War of the Worlds has no further significance than as the holiday offering it is intended to be. Mercury Theater's own radio version of dressing up in a sheet and jumping out of a bush and saying boo. Starting now, we couldn't soak all your windows and steal all your garden gates. By tomorrow night, so we did the best thing. We annihilated the world before your very ears and utterly destroyed the CBS. You will be relieved, I hope, to learn that we didn't mean it, and that both institutions are still open for business.
Alright, so what
Goodbye,
have
everybody, and
we
remember,
got?
please, for the next day or so, the terrible lesson you learned tonight. That grinning, glowing, globular...
Okay. Oh, okay, okay.
An inhabitant of the Punket.
Can I interest you in an extremely rare refreshment? It's called a Nuka-Cola Quantum. Only 100 capsules. Well, it'll save me...
Don't normally pay for Nuka-Cola Quantums, but I'm collecting everyone I come across, so it's whatever. Oh, he's only got 182 caps? Shit. Let's see what he's got. Really? Good. You really are a scavenger. Okay, alright. I'll just...
A pleasure. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, the director of the Mercury Theater and star of these broadcasts, Orson Welles.
We know now that in the early years of the 20th century, this world was being watched closely by intelligences greater than man, yet as mortal as his own. We know now that as human beings busied themselves about their various concerns, they were scrutinized and studied, perhaps almost as narrowly as a man with a microscope might scrutinize the transient creatures swarm and multiply in a drop of water. With infinite complacency, who will probe the earth about their little affairs, serene in the assurance of their dominion over this small,
Be aware
fragment
of the
solar
present
driftwood,
moment.
which by chance or design, man has inherited out of the dark mystery of time and space. Yet across an immense
That's all
ethereal
that's
gulf,
here. And let's go over to here.
ours as the beasts in the jungle, intellect. This particular evening, October 30th, Crosley Service estimated that 32 million people were listening in on radio.
Not much change in temperature. A slight atmospheric disturbance of undetermined origin is reported off the Nova Scotia, causing a low pressure area to move down rather rapidly over the northeastern states, bringing a forecast of rain accompanied by winds of light gale force. Maximum temperature 66, minimum 48. This weather report comes to you from the government weather station.
Yeah.
We take you now to the immersion room in the Hotel Park Plaza in downtown New York, where you will be entertained by the music of Raymond Riccello and his orchestra.
Death Claw over there. Oh, Really? Is that how you want to play it?
Here, you.
Oh, come on.
Here, play tricks on me again.
That didn't work out as spectacular as I thought it was going to. So,
And describes the phenomenon as, quote, like a jet of blue flame shot from a gun, unquote. We now returning to the music of Grandma Marcello, playing for you in the Meridian Room.
I am on PC, good sir, using the Steam version of Fallout 3. How are you today?
Ladies and gentlemen, following on the news given in our bulletin a moment ago, the Government Meteorological Bureau has requested the large observatories of the country to keep an astronomical watch on astronomical disturbances occurring on the planet Mars. Due to the unusual...
Oh, the reservist rifle.
We have arranged an interview
And the Oasis coordinates. I already had that.
on this event.
Who's next?
That drifter's been taking people out for quite a while.
We are ready now to take you to the Princeton Observatory at Princeton, where Carl Phillips, our commentator, will interview Professor Richard Pearson, famous astronomer. We take you now to Princeton, New Jersey. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, there were a lot of people here. I wonder if he's just the last one, or how the fuck did he get up there? Maybe he climbed up here.
Professor Pearson stands directly above me on a small platform,
Maybe.
peering through the giant lens.
Likely.
I ask you to be patient, ladies and gentlemen, during any delay that may arise during our interview. Besides the secret watch of heaven,
Come on.
Professor Pearson may be interrupted
Just-
by telephone or other communication. During this period, he is in constant touch with the astronomical centers of the world. Professor, may I begin our questions?
At any time, I suppose.
Professor, would you please tell our radio audience exactly what you see as you observe the planet?
I mean, he likely climbed up here.
Nothing unusual at the moment, I suppose. A red disc swimming in the blue sea. Red stripes across the disc. White
But
that Mars has to be
I now have the reservist rifle.
as we call it.
In your opinion, what do these transfer stripes signify, Professor?
Not for now.
Which I have the unique variant, or I think one of the unique variants. What's up, Bravo? How you doing today?
Then your point is
It's nice to see everybody on.
that living intelligence as we know it does not
My metrics have been picking up on at least on the YouTube front for Mount Mabel Campground. That's this one right here. This one has a death claw guarding it. My metrics have been going up for my streams on YouTube, and I like that a lot. Thank you very much, guys.
someone who just handed Professor Pearson a message. While he reads it, let me remind you that we are
I would very much like to make this something semi-professional. That was pretty cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, I can read you a wire addressed to Professor Pearson from Dr. Gray, the Natural History Museum, New York. Quote, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Seismograph registered
Because having it at least a day where I do nothing but play video games
Please investigate.
for other people's entertainment and get paid for it possibly doesn't seem like the worst thing that I could do with some of my time, all things considered.
A meteorite of unusual size and its arrival at this particular time is merely a coincidence. However, we should conduct the search as soon as daylight permits.
Thank you, Professor. Ladies and gentlemen, for the past 10 minutes, we've been speaking to you from the observatory of Central.
Right, discovered the...
Just Dad!
Oh, where are you coming from? Alright, different weapon. Maybe... Fox is definitely a very useful companion. You're almost not gonna fucking be able to, like, even if you. I don't think he can die. Can't. Maybe he could. He turned into a gooey pile. Okay. So now that all the things are dead, we always like a good, shit. A good health kit. Always good stuff in the health kits. If you're trying to make money early game, cartons of cigarettes are really good money makers.
Look around yet? I guess that's the thing directly in front of me. Half buried in a vast pit. Must have struck a terrific force. Covered with splinters and debris and struck on its way down. But I can see the object itself doesn't look very much like a meteor. It's not the meteors I've seen. It's a huge cylinder. Has a diameter of
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies.
What would you say? What's the diameter of the...
About 30 yards.
About 30 yards. The metal on the sheath is, well, I've never seen anything like it. The color
I
is
feel
sort of
like that's...
yellowish white. It's curious. Spectators
There wasn't very much here, was there?
Back, getting in front of my line of vision. Would you mind staying one side, please?
I mean, a couple of enemies, that's... I don't know. Is there... Deathclaw Sanctuary, I think that might be over here. Yeah, that looks like some... This looks like it's... you should die when you go through... like, yeah, this looks like some trouble. Alright. Come on, folks. Let's go see what kind of trouble we can get into. I like how the sun, well, it looked kind of janky, but kind of, I don't know what that was weird. Okay, those are more rats. Not exactly what I thought those were, I don't know what I thought.
wish I could say the atmosphere,
That-
the background of this fantastic scene. Hundreds of cars have parked in the field and back.
Okay, so this must be,
Leading into the farm,
okay,
but
this
there's no
was,
use.
okay.
They're breaking
I
right
don't know
through.
what,
Cars, headlights throwing enormous fire on the pit where the object.
Grim Reaper sprint. Oh, we already did. Okay. I don't want that big thing. I thought that was a, I thought it was a body.
We're not more than 25 feet away. Can you hear it now?
Yeah, that's, oh,
Yes,
Can you tell us the meaning of that scraping noise inside the tank?
possibly the unequal cooling of the surface.
I say, do you still think it's a meteor effect?
that was a good one.
Definitely extraterrestrial. Not found on this Earth. Friction with the Earth's atmosphere usually tears holes in a meteorite. This thing is full.
Yeah, why not?
You can see it, Flint.
It's free money.
What's happening? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Britain. This end of the thing seems to flake off. The top is beginning to rotate like a screw in the thing looks
Okay,
hollow.
so there's the Death Ball Sanctuary. And broadcast tower is right over there.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most terrifying thing I've ever witnessed. Wait a minute. Someone calling someone or something. I see coming out of that black hole through a luminous skin. The eyes might be a face, might be on the heavens. Something breaking out of the shadow like a gray snake. Now it's another one, and another one, and another one. They look like tentacles to me.
It's another death glow over there, fucking something up.
The bear. Bristles like wet leather, but face. Ladies and gentlemen, to describe it, I can hardly force myself to keep looking at it. Oh, awful. Eyes are black and they gleam like a serpent in the mountain. A kind of V-shape with saliva.
There's
dripping from
a
quivers.
tunnel entrance.
Oh, quivers, pulsate, monster, whatever it is, can hardly move. Being weighed down by possibly gravity or something. The thing's rising up.
Oh, Talon Company. Hello, boys. Top of the morning to you. Let's have breakfast.
We are bringing you an eyewitness account of what's happening.
I want this one's head on a fucking...
You were saying?
We now return
You weren't even carrying anything good enough to loot. You're barely worth the fucking ammo I spent. Yeah. Everybody's always trying to fucking take me out. You Sigma Alpha Lima foul.
Yes, it is. Now they've parted, and the professor moves around one side, studying the object while the captain and two policemen advance with something in their hands. I can say it now. It's a white handkerchief tied to a pole. Flag of truce. Those creatures know what that means, what anything means. There's something.
Which vape? This one right here, or the Mixo, or the other one that I have is the Digi Flavor from Geek Bar. They have their new pod systems now too.
In a field east of the village of Grover's Mill, their bodies burned and distorted beyond all possible recognition. The next voice you hear will be that of
Well, hello, sir.
Montgomery Smith, commander of the
Thank
state
you
militia
for your
at Trenton, New Jersey.
contributions to the cause.
I have been requested by the governor of New Jersey to place the counties of Mercer and Middlesex as far west as Princeton and east to Jamesburg under martial law. No one will be permitted to enter this area except by special pass issued by
Oh yeah, that's the Mixo. It's a pretty good vape. The best one in my opinion is the Cactus Lime Ice, but the grapefruit one is really good too. That's the orange one that I have right now. The orange colored one. Grapefruit, lemon, and ice.
Though we may seem safe for the moment, it is fleeting.
We have been unable to establish any contact with our mobile unit at Grover's Mill, but we hope to be able to return you there at the earliest possible moment.
Oh.
In the meantime, we take
Oh
you to...
shit! I almost missed some motherfucking stem packs.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have just been informed that we have finally established communication with an eyewitness of the tragedy. Professor Pearson has been located at a farmhouse near Grover's Mill, where he has established an emergency observation
Purified
post.
water. Cool.
As a
Cool.
scientist, he will give you his...
It's actually fair.
You have something
Stop.
to say?
No.
No.
Pearson, brought to you by direct wire. Professor Pearson.
Okay, so that's the only thing that was in this drainage tunnel. That's interesting. Ew.
I can give you no authoritative information.
The heck was that,
other
Fox?
than their nature, their origin, or their
Alright. So let's go around to the.
I might venture some conjectural explanation.
They're gonna be underground anyway.
I shall refer to the
So to the Deathclaw Sanctuary we go.
These creatures have scientific knowledge far in advance of our own. It's my guess that in some way they are able to
Ah.
generate an intense heat in a chamber practically absolute non-conductivity. This intense heat they project in a parallel beam against any object they choose by means of a polished parabolic mirror of unknown composition.
Somebody's fucking
Punches the mirror
preparing
right
you
out
for
the
combat.
beam of light. That is my conjecture of the origin of the heat ray.
Thank you, Professor Pearson. Ladies and gentlemen, here is a bulletin sent. It is a brief statement informing us that the charred body of Carl Phillips has been identified in the Trenton Hospital. Now here's another bulletin from Washington, D.C. The Office of the Director of the National Red Cross reports 10 units of Red Cross emergency workers have been assigned to the headquarters of the state militia, stationed outside of Grover's Mill, New Jersey.
It's rather ominous if there's a fucking gigantic crate of weapons, or not weapons, but like aids to help you if you go in.
Vice President in charge of operations. We have received a request from the state militia at Trenton to place at their disposal our entire broadcasting facilities. Due to the gravity of the situation,
Here we go.
radio has a responsibility to serve in the public interest at all times. We are turning over our facilities to the state militia at Trenton.
How you doing, one big burrito?
Field headquarters of the state militia near Grover's Mill, New Jersey.
We're heading down into the Deathclaw Sanctuary. Let's hope there are some goodies down here. There should be.
Situation arising from the reported presence of certain individuals of unidentified nature is now under complete control. The cylindrical object lies in a pit directly below our position, surrounded on all sides by 8 battalions of infantry, without heavy field pieces, but adequately armed with rifles and machine guns. All cause for alarm.
Alright, we might be okay.
Their hiding place plainly in the glare of the searchlights here. With all their reported resources, these creatures khaki uniform, crossing back and forth in front of the lights. Looks almost like a real war. There appears to be some slight smoke in the woods bordering Toadstone River. Probably fire started by campers. Well, you ought to see some action soon. One of the companies is deploying on the left flank. A quick thrust and it'll all be over. Wait a minute, I see something on top of the cylinder. No, it's nothing but a shadow. Now the troops are on the edge of the Wilmer Farm. 7,000 armed men closing in on an old metal tube. That's tough, rather.
Ooh,
Now, wait, that wasn't a shadow. It was something more.
bobblehead.
Solid metal.
And a magazine. Holy shit. And a mini nuke. Oh shit.
It's standing on legs, actually rearing up on a sort of metal framework. Now it's reaching above.
Holy hell, there's a quantum. Damn.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a
There's
grave
just
announcement.
so much
Incredible as it may seem, both the observations of science and the evidence of art
stuff
lead to the inescapable
here.
assumption that those strange beings who landed in the Jersey farmlands tonight are the vanguard of an invading army from the planet Mars. The battle that took place tonight at Grover Mills has ended in one of the most startling defeats ever suffered by an army. 7,000 men armed with rifles and machine guns fought against the single fighting machine of the invaders from Mars. 120 known survivors. The rest strewn over the battle area from Grover's Mill to Plainsboro, crushed and trampled to death under the metal feet of the monster, or burned to cinders by its heat ray. The monster is now in control of the middle section of New Jersey and has effectively cut the state through its center. Communication lines are down from Pennsylvania to the Atlantic Ocean. Railroad tracks are torn and service from New York to Philadelphia discontinued except including some of the trains from Allison and Phoenixville. Highways to the north, south, and west have clogged with frantic human traffic. Police and army reserves are unable to control the mad flight. By morning, the fugitives will have swelled Philadelphia, Camden, and Trenton. It is estimated to twice their normal population.
Yeah. It might be
At this time, we take you to watch
because they put all the toys right at the front.
the Secretary of the Interior.
All the shiny stuff at the front. We just gotta get out.
Try to conceal the gravity of the situation nor the concern of your government in protecting the lives and property of others. However, I will press upon private citizens and public officials, all of you, the urgent need of calm and resourceful action. Fortunately, this formidable enemy is still confined to a comparatively small area, and we may place our faith in the military forces to keep them there. In the meantime, placing our faith in God, we must continue the performance of our duties, each and every one of us, so that we may confront this destructive adversary with a nation united, courageous, and consecrated to the preservation of human supremacy on this earth. I thank you.
I'm concerned about this area.
You have just heard the
Yeah,
Secretary of
me
the
too,
Interior
Fox.
speak
Me
from
too.
Washington.
The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells, starring Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the air.
I was waiting for one of them to pop the fuck out. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I can hit them hard too, but they can fucking shred my armor in no time.
Furtive existence of the lonely derelict.
I was wondering why I'd only seen one of them.
On the back of some astronomical note bearing signature. Richard Gibb. Look down at my blackened hand. Try to connect them with a professor who lives in Princeton who on the night of October 20th glimpsed through his telescope an orange splash of light on the distance. observatory?
I think I got everything in here.
My world. Where are they? Did they ever exist?
That shit's gross.
Am I Richard Pierce? What day is it? Do days exist without calendars? Does time pass when there are no human hands left to wind the clocks? Writing down my daily life, I tell myself I shall preserve human history between the dark covers of this little book that was meant to record the movement of the stars. Right, I've lived on the east. Find moldy bread in the kitchen, orange nuts, spoiled, swallow. Keep watching the window. Time to time, I catch sight of a Martian above the black smoke. Smoke still holds the house in its black coil, but like a hissing sound, and suddenly I see a Martian mounted on his machine, spraying the air with a jet of steam as it dissipates smoke. I watch in the corner as his huge metal legs nearly brush against the house. Exhausted by terror, I fall asleep. Morning. Sun streams from the window. Black clouds of gas is lifted and scorched meadows north of a black snowstorm. I venture from the house and make my way to a road. In their wrecked car, back into a black skeleton. Push on north.
Oh shit, there's
For some reason I feel safer trailing these monsters.
shit everywhere.
And I keep a careful watch. I've seen the Martians. Should one of their machines peer over the top of the trees, I'm ready to fling myself flat on the earth. Come to a chestnut. Chestnuts are right. Fill my pocket. Right.
Let's see where this one branches.
Vague northerly direction through a desolate world. Finally, I noticed a living creature. A small red squirrel in the beech tree. Stares at him once. He stares back at me. I believe at that moment the animal and I shared the same emotion. Joy of finding
In
another
all
living being.
things, the calm heart must
Push on
prevail.
north. I find dead cows in a brackish field and beyond the charred ruins of a dairy silo. Things standing guard over the wasteland like a light. Deserted by the sea. Astride the silo perches a weathercock. The arrow points north. North. Next day I come to a city. City vaguely familiar in its contours, yet its buildings strangely dwarfed and leveled off as if a giant had sliced off its highest towers with a capricious sweep of his hand.
I don't think I missed it.
I'm speaking from the roof of broadcasting building. I'm speaking from the roof of broadcasting building.
The one in here.
New York City. The bells from here are ringing to warn the people to evacuate the city as Martians approach. Estimated in the last 2 hours, 3 million people have moved out along the roads to the north.
Our steps must be
River
measured.
Parkway is still kept open for motor traffic. Boy, this is Long Island, hopelessly jammed.
Very nice.
All communication with Jersey Shore closed 10 minutes ago. No more defenses. Our army is wiped out. Artillery, Air Force, everything wiped out. Maybe the last broadcast. We'll stay here to the end.
Yeah, it looks like several groups of people have come in here for loaded for bear and ended up
Now I
Um,
harbor all manner
on the
of
wrong side of
overloaded with fleeing population
something's
pouring out of
digestive
the
tract.
There are times
Streets are all jammed. Noise crowds like New Year's
the
Eve.
primal
City.
part of me pulling me away.
The enemy is now in sight above the palisades. Five straight
far enough.
A bulletin is handed me. Martian cylinders are falling all over the country. One outside of Buffalo, one in Chicago. They seem to be timed in space. Now the first machine reaches the shore. And watching, looking over the city. Steele's Howley's head is even with the skyscrapers. He waits for the others. They rise like a line of new towers on the city's west side. Now they're lifting their metal hands.
Hold you!
This is the end now.
Look at that. Mid-motherfucking death.
They're running toward the East River, thousands of them.
I win again!
We certainly did, folks. We certainly did.
People are trying to run away
With the
from it.
power of family.
They're falling like flies. Now the smoke crossing 6th Avenue. 5th Avenue. 100 yards away. It's 50 feet.
Wow. That's a cat down here. That's fucking nice.
Joel calling Springfield. Joel calling Springfield, New York. Is there anyone on the air? Is there anyone on the air? Isn't there anyone? Joel.
You are listening to a CBS presentation of Orson Welles and Mercury Theatre on the Air in an original dramatization of The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. Performance will continue after
I'm just waiting to find like a Deathclaw matriarch or something.
The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells, starring Orson Welles and the Mercury Theatre on the Air.
Where water?
What was that?
Yeah, good question, sir.
As I set down these notes on paper, I'm obsessed by the thought that I may be the last living man on Earth. I've been hiding in this empty house near
Oh,
Forest
that's
Hill,
gross.
a small island of daylight
Oh.
cut off by the black smoke from the rest of the world. All that happened before the arrival of these monstrous creatures in the world now seems a part of another life. Life that has no continuity with the present. Furtive existence of the lonely derelict who pencils these words on the back of some astronomical notes bearing signature. Richard Gibson. Look down at my blackened hand. I had a connection with a professor who lived in Princeton on the night of October 20th. He glimpsed through his telescope an orange splash of light on a distant planet. My wife, my colleague, my books, my observatory.
You have something to say? Yes, by all means. Let's. And I.
Clocks.
Hopefully he uses vengeance.
Writing down my daily life, I tell myself I shall
I
preserve
think that was like the real prize
little book.
for coming down here.
The stars. Write and live on the beach. I made it there in the kitchen with an orange nut. snowstorm. I ventured from the house to make my way to a road, no traffic. Here's a wrecked car, baggage overturned, plastic skeleton. Push on north. For some reason I feel safer trailing these monsters than running away from them. And I keep a careful watch. I've seen the Martians. Should one of their machines appear over the top of the trees, I'm ready to fling myself flat on the earth. Come to a chestnut. Chestnut to right. Fill my pocket. Right. 2 days I wander in a vague northerly direction through a desolate world. Finally, I noticed a
I'm just mapping everything right now, making sure I don't miss any corners or anything like that. I know there's a side over here.
He stares back at me.
Things, the calm
I
heart
believe
must
at that
prevail.
moment the animal and I shared the same emotion. Joy of finding another living being. Push on north. I find dead cows in a brackish field and beyond the charred ruins of a dairy and silo. Mate standing guard over the wasteland like a lighthouse. Deserted but stride the silo, perches at Weathercock, the arrow points north. North. Next day I come to a city. City vaguely familiar in its contours, yet its buildings strangely dwarfed and leveled off.
Alright, that looks...
Giant had sliced off its highest towers with a capricious sweep of its hand. Reached the outskirts of Newark.
How you doing, Merlin?
Undemolished but humbled by some whim of the advancing Martians.
Okay,
Presently, with an
alright, I
odd
think...
feeling of being watched, I caught sight of something crouching in a doorway. I stepped towards it. Rose up and became a man.
I think that is everything on this side.
I come from many places.
That's all there, yeah.
A long time ago from Princeton.
Because that's as far go back as that goes.
Near Grover's Mill.
Yes.
Grover's Mill.
Alright, so let's go hit up those other two.
There's no food here. This is my country. All this end of town down the river. There's only
These
food.
paths over here.
Where you going?
I don't know.
Here's your
I guess
pool
I'm
of
looking
blood. God damn.
People.
What was that? Do we hear something?
Stretches pretty far. It's a
Me a bird.
pretty gross little fucking pool of gore.
A live bird.
Get to know that birds have shadows these days. Hey, we're in the open here. Just call in the doorway here. Oh.
Have you seen any Martians?
They're going over to New York. Night, the sky's alive with the lights. Just as if people were still living. By daylight, you can't see them. 5 days ago, a couple of them carried something big across the flat from the airport. I think they're learning how to fly.
Fly.
Yeah.
As I suspected.
Stranger, there's still you and I. Two of us left.
They got themselves in solid. They wrecked the greatest country in the world.
I mean, I'm fairly beefy at this point,
Somewhere every night. They've
so
only lost one machine. There isn't anything to do. We're done. We're elected.
it's no surprise that I'm vaporizing
I was in the militia. National Guard. That's it. There wasn't any war. Any more than
the
there
death
was
clause,
man and ant.
but I have
Eatable ants.
specced pretty hard by this point.
I feel it all out. Right now, we're caught in the water. Martian only has to go a few miles to get a crowd on the run. They will keep on doing that. They'll catch them systematically, keeping the best, storing them, cases. They haven't begun on it yet. Begun? Not begun. All that's happened so far is because we don't have sense enough to keep quiet. Bothering them with guns and such stuff and losing our heads and rushing off in crowds. Rushing around blind, we gotta fix ourselves up according to the way things are now. Cities, nations, civilization, progress.
Yes, but if that's so, what is there to live for?
Well, they won't be any more concerts for many years or so, and no nice little dinners or restaurants. If it's amusement you're after, I guess the game's up.
What is there left?
Life, that's what. I
Now
wanna
you
live.
went.
Yeah, and so do you.
Fucking knife. If you come in here anything less than fucking high level, you're gonna have a bad time.
I got a plan. We men are men. Finished. We don't know enough. We gotta learn plenty before we got a chance. We've gotta live and keep free what we learn, see? I thought it all out, see?
Thank you for the compliment on the beard, sir. I appreciate that.
All of us have been made for wild
It,
beasts. That's what I got.
it has been, maturing for a while now.
Live in these houses. They be no good. They haven't any stuff. Run off to work. I've seen hundreds of them running to catch their commuter's train in the morning. Afraid they'd be canned if they didn't. Running back at night. Afraid they wouldn't be in time for dinner. Lives.
That is nearly all
Yeah,
of the Deathclaw Sanctuary.
Our steps must be measured.
Nice movie. Good food, careful breathing, no worries. Yeah, after a week or so of chasing around the fields on empty stomachs, they'll come and gradually.
Thought it all out, huh?
You better. That isn't all. These Martians are gonna make pets of them. Train them to do tricks. Who knows? Get sentimental over the pet boy who grew up and had to be killed. Yeah. Some maybe. They're trained to hunt us. Yes, they will. As men as good flesh. Me, but
Meantime, you and I and other fighters. Where are we to live? The Martians
Alright.
own the Earth.
all for you.
Decent
I
time.
live underground. I've been thinking about the sewers. Under New York, they're miles and miles back. The main ones, they're big enough for anybody. And there's cellars, vaults, underground storage, railway tunnels, subways. We got a bunch of strong men together. No weakness. That rubbish. Out.
As you meant me to go.
You.
Cash I missed.
Don't quarrel about that.
We gotta make safe places for us to stay in, see? It all about science books. That's where men like you come in. We raid the museums. We'll even spy on the Martians. May not be so much we have to learn before. Just imagine it. 4 or 5 of their own fighting machines suddenly start off. Heat rays right and left. Not a Martian in them. Not a Martian in them, see? But men who learn the way how. Maybe in our time. Gee. Having one of them lovely things with a heat ray wide and free. We turn it on Martians, we turn it on men. We bring everybody down to their knees.
That's your plan.
You, me, enormous. The world.
I think.
Hey. Where you going?
Not to your world. Right, stranger. Well, after parting with the artilleryman, I came at last to the Holland Tunnel, entered that silent tube. Anxious to know the fate of the great city on the other side of the Hudson. Cautiously, I came out of the tunnel and made my way up Canal Street. Reached 14th Street, and there again, black powder, several bodies, and an evil, ominous
Though we may
smell
seem
pervading
safe for the
cellars
moment,
of the houses.
it is fleeting.
Wandered up to the 30th and 40th. Stood alone on Times Square. Caught sight of a lean dog running down 7th Avenue. Dark brown meat in his jaws. Pack of starving mongoose at his heels. Made a wide circle around it as though he feared I might prove a fresh competitor. Walked up Broadway in the direction of that strange powder, that silent shoplifters, displaying their mute wares to empty sidewalks. Past the Capitol Theater, silent, dark.
Damn.
He should be mine.
Past the shooting gallery where a row of empty guns faced an arrested line of wooden ducks. near Columbus Circle. I noticed models of 1939 motor cars in the showrooms facing empty streets. Over the top of the General Motors building, I watched a flock of black birds circling in the sky. Hurried on. Suddenly, I caught sight of the hood of a Martian machine, standing somewhere in Central Park, gleaming in the late afternoon sun. Same idea. I rushed breathlessly across Columbus Circle and into the park. I climbed a small hill above the pond at 60th Street. From there, I could see standing in a silent row along the mall 19 of those great metal titans, their cowls empty, their steel arms hanging listlessly by their sides. I looked in vain for the monsters that inhabit these machines. Suddenly, my eyes were attracted to the immense flock of black birds that hovered directly below me. They circled to the ground. And there before my eyes, stark and silent, lay the Martians, the hungry birds, pecking and tearing brown shreds of flesh. The dead bodies.
Yeah, this is where we came in and dropped in at.
Bodies were examined in laboratories and found that they were killed by the putresctive and disease bacteria against which their systems were unprepared. Slain, after all, man is sentenced to fail. The humblest thing that God has wisdom put upon the earth. Before the cylinder fell, there was general persuasion that through all the deep space, no life existed beyond the petty surface of our minute sphere. Now we see further. Dim and wonderful vision I've conjured up in my mind of life spreading slowly from this little seedbed of the solar system throughout the inanimate vastnesses of sidereal space. Remote dream. Maybe the destruction of the Martians is only a reprieve.
Oh,
For them
right.
and not for us. Future ordained for us.
There it is.
In my peaceful study, Princeton, writing down this last chapter of the record, begun at the deserted farm of Groton Hill.
And we are
Children playing in the street.
free of
Strange to see young people strolling on the green where the new spring grass
the Deathclaw
seals
Sanctuary.
the last black sky. Strange to watch the sight
Not as much a terror
resemble parts of a Martian machine
for
in
us
public
as
schools.
for some others,
Strange when I recall a time
but my butthole still clenches when I see a Deathclaw.
clean cut.
Less so in Fallout 4, but these like these guys always fucking these guys always fucking terrify me. Let's see. Alright, so that's so now we go here. So we could just go here, 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 here,
This is Orson
here and
Welles,
here.
ladies and gentlemen.
And then
Out of character to assure you that the War of the Worlds has no further significance than as the holiday offering it was intended to be. Mercury Theater's own radio version of dressing up in a sheet and jumping out of a bush and saying boo. Starting now, we couldn't soap all your windows.
yes,
seal all
thank you,
your
Merlin. Yeah, this is Fallout 3.
By tomorrow night, so we did the best next thing. We annihilated the world before your very ears and utterly destroyed the CBS. You'll be relieved, I hope, to learn that we didn't mean it, and that both institutions are still open for business. So goodbye, everybody, and remember, please, for the next day or so, the terrible lesson you learned tonight. That grinning, glowing, globular invader of your living room is an inhabitant of the pumpkin patch, and if your doorbell rings and nobody's there, that was no Martian Halloween.
Tonight, the Columbia Broadcasting System and its 28 stations coast to coast has brought you the War of the World by H2S, the 17th in its weekly series of dramatic broadcasts featuring Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the air. Next week, we present a dramatization of 3 famous short stories. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System and
Shale
stations
Bridge.
present Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the air.
about their various concerns. They were scrutinized and studied, perhaps almost as narrowly as a man with a microscope might scrutinize the transient creatures swarm and multiply in a drop of water. With infinite complaint, people went to and fro over the earth about their little affairs, serene in the assurance of their dominion over this small, spinning fragment of solar driftwood, which by chance or design, man has inherited out of the dark mystery of time and space. Yet across an immense ethereal gulf, minds that are to our minds, ours are to the beasts of the
Where's Shieldbridge?
intellect, vast, cool, and unsympathetic, regarded this earth with envious eyes, slowly and surely drew their plans against us. In the 39th year of the 20th century came the Great Dissolution. Near the end of October, business was better. War scare was over. All men were back at work. They were this particular evening, October 30th, the Crosley service estimated that 32 million people were listening in on radio.
Changing temperature. A slight atmospheric disturbance of uncertain
That Shieldbridge.
causing a low pressure area to move down rather rapidly over
We
coast,
take care of.
bringing a forecast rain accompanied by winds of light gale force. Maximum temperature
Ooh.
66, minimum 48.
Hello, cousin. Seen better days.
From the government weather service. We take you now to the Meridian Room in the Hotel Park Plaza in downtown New York, where you will be entertained by the music of Raymond Raquello and his orchestra.
Wow.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. From the Meridian Room in the Park Plaza Hotel in New York City, we bring you the music of Raymond Raquello and his orchestra. The Dutch of the Spanish, Raymond Raquello leads off with La Encantadita.
I'd love to be the goat. Not sure this why this would be locked like this.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt our program of dance music to bring you a special bulletin from the Intercontinental Radio News. At 20 minutes before 8 Central Time, Professor Farrell of the Mount Jennings Observatory, Chicago, Illinois, reports observing several explosions of incandescent gas occurring at regular intervals on the planet Mars. The spectroscope indicates the gas to be hydrogen and moving toward the Earth with enormous velocity. Professor Pearson of the observatory at Princeton confirms Farrell's observation and describes the phenomenon as, quote, we now return you to the music of Raymond Raquello, playing for you in the Meridian Room of the Park Plaza Hotel, situated in downtown New York.
And now a tune that never loses faith. The ever-popular Stardust. Raymond Raquello and his orchestra.
Ladies and gentlemen, following on the news given in our bulletin a moment ago, the Government Meteorological Bureau has requested the large observatories of the country to keep an astronomical watch on any further disturbances occurring on planet Mars. Due to the unusual nature of this event, we have arranged an interview with a noted astronomer, Professor Pearson, who will give us his views on this event. In a few moments, we will take you to the Princeton Observatory at Princeton, New Jersey. We return you until then the music of Raymond Raquello and his orchestra.
Not a lot of heater. Why would you bother holding this?
take you to the Princeton Observatory at Princeton, where Carl Phillips, our commentator, will interview Professor Richard Pearson, famous astronomer. We take you now to Princeton, New Jersey.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Carl Phillips speaking to you from the observatory at Princeton. Standing in a large
Oh,
six
okay.
black Zeppelin oblongs spread the ceiling. Through this opening, I can see a twinkling star that casts a kind of frosty glow over the intricate mechanism of the huge telescope. The ticking sound you hear, the vibration of the clock. Professor Pearson stands directly above me on a small platform, peering through the giant lens. I ask you to be patient, ladies and gentlemen. During any delay that may arise during our interview. Besides the ceaseless watch of the heavens, Professor Pearson may be interrupted by telephone or other communication. During this period, he is in constant touch with the astronomical centers of the world. Professor, may I see turnout questions?
At any time.
Professor, would you please tell our
Please should be mine.
what you see as you observe
Part of a
Mars
bigger-
through your telescope?
Nothing unusual at the moment.
In your opinion, what do these transfer stripes signify?
Thank God we can walk right through that debris.
Sure you, Phillips. Although that's a popular conjecture of those who imagine Mars to be inhabited. From a scientific viewpoint, the stripes are merely the result of atmospheric conditions peculiar to the planet. Phillips, I cannot.
How far is Mars? Well, that seems a safe enough distance. Just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Someone has just handed Professor Pearson a message.
It's just always so funny to fucking see a super mutant master
Princeton, New Jersey.
or overlord run from me or Fox.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, I shall read you a wire addressed to Professor Pearson from Dr.
Who's
J,
next?
the Natural History Museum, New York.
Let's find out.
9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Seismograph registered shock of almost earthquake intensity. A hurry within 20 miles of Princeton. Please investigate.
Stop running up. That was bad. Step right up.
Hardly, Mr. Phillips. This is probably a meteorite of unusual size, and its arrival at a particular time is merely coincidence. However, we will conduct the search as soon as daylight comes.
Thank you, Professor. Ladies and gentlemen, for the past 10 minutes, we've been speaking to you from the observatory at Princeton, bringing you a special interview with Professor Pearson, noted astronomer. This is
Put up a fight.
It's a Yalgwai over there.
Latest bulletin from the Intercontinental Radio News. Toronto, Canada. Professor Morris of McMillan University reports observing a total of 3 explosions on the planet Mars between the hours of 7:45
Nope.
p.m. and 9:20 p.m. Eastern Standard
Oh
Time.
yeah, that is a Yalgwai, but
Earlier
those
reports received from American
are
officials.
some
Now nearer home,
robots.
from Trenton, New Jersey.
Probably an Enclave patrol.
At 8:50 p.m., a huge flaming object, believed to be a meteorite, fell on a farm in the neighborhood of Grover's Mill, New Jersey, 22 miles from Trenton. A flash in the sky was visible within a radius of
Yeah,
7
I guess we can go and
miles. The impact was heard as far north as the distance.
discover Vault 87.
And we'll have our commentator, Carl Phillips, give you a word picture of the scene as soon as he can reach there for questions. In the meantime, we take you to the Hotel Martinet in Brooklyn, where Bobby Millett and his orchestra are offering a program of dance music. We take you now to Groversville, New Jersey.
what would you say? What would you say? What's the diameter of the anything like coloring sort of yellowish white? Curious spectators now are pressing close to the object in spite of the efforts of the police to keep it back. They're getting in front of the line of vision. Would you mind standing one side, please, while it is pushing the crowd back? Here's Mr. Wilman, owner of the barn. He may have some interesting facts to add. Mr. Wilman, would you please tell the radio audience as much as you remember of this rather unusual visitor that stopped in your backyard? Step closer, please. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Wilman.
I was listening to the radio.
Closer, louder, please. Louder.
I was listening to the radio and kind of drowsy. The professor fellow was talking about Mars, so I was half dozing.
So I'm assuming that
As I was saying, I was listening
it
to the radio,
is.
kind of halfway.
Yeah. You can't even get near Vault 87.
Saying,
Like,
starting now, we couldn't
just motherfucking
steal all your garden gates. By tomorrow,
trying
we'll do
to.
the next thing. We annihilated the world.
Alright, let's
We
go
are
get
very
Shellbridge
clear,
and-
Utterly destroyed the CBS. You'll be relieved, I hope, to learn that we didn't need it, and that both institutions are still open for business. So goodbye, everybody, and remember, please, for the next day or so, the terrible lesson you learned tonight. That grinning, glowing, globular invader of your living room is an inhabitant of the pumpkin patch. If your doorbell rings and nobody's there, that was no Martian. Halloween.
I just wanted to see if I could actually get the location, Vault 87.
has brought you The War of the World by H.G. Wells, the 17th in its weekly series.
But apparently not.
Featuring Orson Welles and the Mercury Theatre
So let's go kill these super mutants one more time. Get Shellbridge.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System. Columbia Broadcasting System and affiliated stations.
That's my dumbass for fucking not getting away from
The World by H.G. Wells.
the radiation fast enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, the director of the Mercury Theatre and star of these broadcasts, Orson Welles.
We know now that in the early years of the 20th century, this world is being watched closely by intelligences greater than man, yet as mortal as his own. We know now that as human beings busied themselves in that area of concern, they were scrutinized and studied. Narrow microscope might scrutinize the transient creatures. With infinite complacency, people went to and fro over the earth about their little affairs, serene in the assurance of their dominion over this small, spinning fragment of solar driftwood, which by chance or design, man has inherited out of the dark mystery of time and space. Yet across an immense ethereal gulf, minds that are dwarf minds,
Be aware of our
are
surroundings.
the beasts in the jungle, intellect, vast, cool, and
I am most aware.
regarded this
Mostly.
earth with envious eyes, slowly and surely through their plans against us. In the 39th year of the 20th century came the Great Disillusionment. Near the end of October, business was better. War scare was over. All men were back at work. Sales were picking up. On this particular evening, October 30th, Crosley Service estimated that 32 billion people were listening in on radio.
Not much change in temperature. A slight atmospheric disturbance. Bringing a forecast of rain accompanied by winds of light gale force.
Shame.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt our program to bring you a from the intercontinental at 20 Farrell of the Mount Jennings Observatory, Chicago, Illinois, reports observing several explosions of incandescent gas occurring at regular intervals on the planet Mars. The spectroscope indicates the gas to be hydrogen and moving toward the Earth with enormous velocity. Professor Pearson of the observatory at Princeton confirms Farrell's observation and describes the phenomenon as, quote, like a jet of blue flame shot from a gun, unquote. We now return you to the music of Ramon Rockello, playing for you in the Meridian Room of the Park Plaza Hotel, situated in downtown New York.
There you are, Fox.
Ladies and gentlemen, following on the news given in our bulletin a moment ago, the Government Meteorological Bureau has requested the large observatories of the country to keep an astronomical watch on any further disturbances occurring on the planet Mars. Due to the unusual nature of this concern, we have arranged this interview with a noted astronomer, Professor Pearson, who will give us his views on this event. In a few moments, we will take you to the Princeton Observatory at Princeton, New Jersey. We return you until then, the music of Ramon Rockello and his orchestra.
The only enemies I really still fear in the vanilla game is the, well, at least in the Broken Steel add-ons is the Feral Ghoul Reaver and the Super Mutant Overlord, because they just fucking take so much goddamn fucking damage. Alright, so...
I ask you to be patient, ladies and gentlemen. During any delay that may arise during our interview. Besides the ceaseless watch of the heavens, Professor Pearson may be interrupted by telephone or other communication.
Next stop.
Would you please tell our radio audience exactly what you see as you observe planet Mars through your telescope?
I can hear you. Must have been nothing.
Swimming in the blue sea. Transverse stripes across the disk. Quite distinct now, because Mars has to be at the point nearest the Earth in opposition, as we call it.
In your opinion, what do these transverse stripes signify, Professor?
Not canals, I can assure you, Mr. Phillips. Although that's the popular conjecture of those who imagine Mars to be inhabited. From a scientific viewpoint, the stripes are merely the result of atmospheric conditions.
Oh, instead of
Then you're quite convinced that scientists
Super Mutants, it's Raiders.
on Mars,
There's a chance against it or 1,000 to 1.
and yet, how do you account for these? Well, that seems to say nothing. Let me remind you that we are speaking to you from the observatory at Princeton, New Jersey, where we are interviewing the astronomer Professor Pearson. One moment.
No, they were raiders last time. It was the same guys.
May I read the message to the listening audience?
Certainly.
Ladies and gentlemen, I shall read you a wire addressed to Professor Pearson from Dr. Gray of the Natural History Museum.
We should be mindful.
9:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. Seismograph records shock of almost earthquake intensity occurring within a radius of 20 miles of Princeton. Please investigate. Signed Lloyd Gray, Chief Astronomical Division. Unquote. Professor Pearson, would this occurrence possibly have something to do with the disturbances observed on the planet Mars?
Hardly, Mr. Coates. This is probably a meteorite of unusual size, arrived at a particular time, merely a coincidence. However, we shall conduct a search as soon as daylight permits.
Thank you, Professor. Ladies and gentlemen, for the past...
I mean, I don't have enough agility to get over. Alright.
Bringing you a special interview with Professor Pearson, global astronomer. This is Carl Bates speaking.
Now, shit me all.
Fox looked like an action hero running away from that explosion. It was pretty cool. A lot of fiery debris. That's pretty cool too.
Now, nearer home, comes a special bulletin from
He loves that motherfucking minigun.
several hundred miles. The noise of the impact was heard as far north as the distance. We have dispatched a special mobile unit to the scene.
Vengeance will be his.
Give you a word next to the scene as soon as you reach there to switch. In the meantime, we take you to the Hotel Martinet in Brooklyn, where Bobby Millett and his orchestra are offering the program a down street.
I'm here. At your back.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Die! Too far.
Who is that? You like it, huh? You like that?
Grim Reaper sprint. One bottle cap. It's my lucky bottle cap.
Directly in front of me, half buried in a vast pit. Must have something terrific force around it, covered with splinters and debris. It must have struck on its way down. And I can see the object itself doesn't look very much like a meteor. At least not the meteors I've seen. It looks more like a huge cylinder. Has the diameter of, what would you say, Professor Pearson? What would you say, what's the diameter of the...
About 30 yards.
About 30 yards. The metal on the sheet is, well, I've never seen anything like it. The color is sort of yellowish white. The curious spectators now are pressing close to the object in spite of the efforts of the police to keep it back. Getting in front of my line of vision. Would you mind standing one side, please? While we're pushing the crowd back. Here's Mr. Wilmot, owner of the barn here. He may have some interesting facts to add. Mr. Wilmot, would you please tell the radio audience as much as you remember of this rather unusual visitor that stopped in your backyard? Step closer, please. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Wilmot.
I was listening to the radio.
Louder.
Pardon me?
Louder.
I was listening to the radio and kind of drowsy. The professor fellow was talking about Mars. So I was half dozing.
Yes, Mr. Wilmot, and then what happened?
As I was saying, I was listening to the radio, kind of
Alright,
halfway.
let's see what's in here.
Then you saw something.
Ooh, that's Brotherhood.
And what did you hear?
Come on!
I could die.
I turned my head out the window and would have sworn I was asleep and dreaming.
Yes?
Seen a kind of greenish streak and then bingo. Something smacked the ground. Knocked me clear out of my chair.
Well, where are you from, Mr. Wilmot?
Well, I ain't quite sure. I reckon I was kind of riled.
Well, thank you, Mr. Wilmot. Thank you very much. No, that's plenty. Ladies and gentlemen, you've just heard Mr. Wilmot over the barn where this thing has fallen. I wish I could say the atmosphere, but just trying to
Yeah,
revoke
this
the
is
roadway
like
leading into the farm, but it's no use.
Brotherhood of
Breaking right
Steel.
through. Cars' headlights throw an enormous spotlight on the pit where the object has buried. Now, some of the more daring souls now are testing at the edge. As a cigarette stand out against the machine. One man wanted to touch it, has died in the policeman. Now the policeman wins. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's something
Now,
I
this is
haven't
Brotherhood of
mentioned
Steel
already.
gear.
It's becoming more distinct.
What the
Perhaps
fuck?
you've caught it already on your radio.
What's on here?
Recently.
Please don't just be a fucking lock terminal.
Do you hear it? A curious humming sound that seems to come from inside the object. I'll move the microphone nearer. Here. Now, we're not more than 25 feet away. Can you hear it now? Professor Pearson,
Yes?
can you tell us the meaning of that scraping noise inside the thing?
Possibly the unequal cooling of the surface.
I say, do you still think it's a meteor effect?
Metal casing is definitely extraterrestrial. Not found on this Earth. Friction with the Earth's atmosphere usually tears holes in meteorites as soon as exposed.
Just a minute. Something's happening. Ladies and gentlemen, this is terrific. This end of the thing is beginning to flake off. The top is beginning to rotate like a screw, and the thing must be hollow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most terrifying thing I've ever witnessed. Wait a minute. Someone's falling down the
Definitely
road.
looks like
Something
fucking
Turn
like
out
a
that
Brotherhood of
black hole,
Steel
luminous
fucking
ship. The eyes,
observation
like
post or something, you know?
Heavens, something wriggling out of the shadow like a great snake. Now it's another one, and another one, and another one. They look like tentacles to me. Oh yeah, I can see the thing's body now. It's large. Large as a bear. Skirts on the front, wet leather. Face. Ladies and gentlemen, it's described like a highly porcelain, so keep looking at it. So awful. Its eyes are black and clean like a serpent in the mouth. It's kind of V-shaped with saliva dripping from its quiver's lips. It seems to quiver and pulsate. Monster of that. Weighed down by possibly gravity. Take a new position. Hold on, what do you think? I'll be right back in a minute.
We are bringing you an eyewitness account of what's happening on the Wilmeth Farm, Groversville, New Jersey.
Blood must prevail.
We now return you to Mount Phillips at Groversville.
Detail as long as I can talk, as long as I can see. Around one side, studying the object while the captain and two policemen advance with something in their hand. I say now, it's a white handkerchief behind your pole. Flag of truce. Those creatures know what that means, what anything means. Wait a minute, something's happening. Some shape is rising out of the pit. And make out a small beam of light against the mirror. What's that? There's a jet of flame spraying from the mirror. And
Maybe Algo has some more problems.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to circumstances beyond our control, we are unable to continue the broadcast from Grover's Mill. Evidently, there's some difficulty with our field transmission. However, we will return to that point at the earliest opportunity. In the meantime, we have a late bulletin from San Diego, California. Professor Indelshofer, speaking at a dinner of the California Astronomical Society, expressed the opinion that the explosions on Mars are undoubtedly nothing more than severe severe
Okay.
volcanic disturbances on the surface of the planet. We continue now with our piano intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've just been handed a message that came in from Grover's Mill by telephone.
You know what food is. She ate earlier.
At least 40 people in the died dead in a field east of the village of Grover's Mill. Distorted beyond all possible recognition. The next voice you hear will be that of Brigadier General Montgomery Smith. At Trenton, New Jersey.
I have been requested by the governor of New Jersey to place the counties of Mercer and Middlesex as plans to change their martial law.
Not sure why they're attacking, but
Except by special pass.
okay.
Four companies of state militias and will aid in the evacuation of homes within the range. Thank you.
Put up a fight!
Crawled back in their pit and made no attempt to prevent the efforts of the firemen to recover the bodies and extinguish the fire. The combined fire departments of Mercer County are fighting the flames which menace the
Look.
We have been unable to establish any contact with our mobile unit at Grover's Mill, but we hope to be able to return you there at the earliest possible moment. In the meantime, we take you to just one moment, please. Ladies and gentlemen, I have just been informed that we have finally established communication with an eyewitness of the tragedy. Professor Pearson has been located at a farmhouse near Grover's Mill, where he has established an emergency observation post. As a scientist, he will give you his explanation of the calamity. Here will be that of Professor Pearson, brought to you by direct wire. Professor Pearson.
Of the creatures in the rocket cylinder at Grover's Mill, I can give you no authoritative information, either as to their nature, their origin, or their purposes here on Earth. Of their destructive instrument, I might venture some conjectural explanation. For want of a better term, I shall refer to the mysterious weapon as a heat ray. All too evident that these creatures have scientific knowledge far in advance of our own. It's my guess that in some way they are able to generate an intense heat in a chamber of practically absolute non-conductivity. This intense heat they project in a parallel beam against any object they choose by means of a polished parabolic mirror of unknown composition. The lighthouse projects a beam of light. That is my conjecture of the origin of the heat ray.
Thank you, Professor Pearson. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the bulletin from Trenton. It is a brief statement informing us that the charred body of Charles Phillips has been identified in the Trenton hospital. Now here's another bulletin from Washington, D.C. The Office of the Director of the National Red Cross reports 10 units of Red Cross emergency workers have been assigned to the headquarters of the state militia, stationed outside of Grover's Mill, New Jersey. Here's a bulletin from the state police of Princeton Junction. The fires at Grover's Mill and vicinity are now under control. Scouts report all quiet in the pit, and there is no sign of life appearing from the mouth of the cylinder. Now, ladies and gentlemen,
There was
we have a special statement from Mr. Harry McDonald,
a very
Vice President in charge
intense
of operations.
firefight.
We have received a request from the state militia of Trenton to place at their disposal our entire broadcasting facilities. In view of the gravity of the situation, believing that radio has a responsibility to serve the public interest at all times, we are turning over our facilities to the state militia of Trenton. We take you now to the field headquarters of the state militia near Grover's Mill, New Jersey.
It's
This
amazing
is Captain
that
Lansing of the
people
Signal
trust
Corps
you
attached
enough
to the state
not
militia.
to
Now
attack
engaged
me.
in military operations in the vicinity of Grover's Mill. Situation arising from the reported presence of certain individuals of unidentified nature is now under complete control. A cylindrical object lies in a pit directly below our position, surrounded on all sides by 8 without heavy field pieces, but adequately armed with rifles and machine guns. All cause for alarm, such cause ever existed, is now entirely unjustified. Things, whatever they are, do not even venture to poke their heads
I'll be right
Almost
back.
Who's next?
See something on top of the cylinder. No, it's nothing but a shadow. Now the truth's on the edge of the Roma swamp. 7,000 armed men closing in on an old metal tube. That's tough, rather. Well, wait, that wasn't a shadow. It's something moving. Solid metal, kind of a steel-like affair rising up out of the cylinder. Going higher and higher.
Actually,
It's standing on legs, actually rearing up on a sort of metal framework. Now it's reaching above the trees.
Yes.
Hold on.
Hey,
be right back.
Hey, friend.
I need to go stretch my legs and get some air real quick.
I have a grave announcement to make. Incredible as it may seem, both the observations of science and the evidence of our eyes lead to the inescapable assumption that those strange beings who landed in the Jersey farmland tonight are the vanguard of an invading army from the planet Mars. The battle which took place tonight at Grover Mill has ended in one of the most startling defeats ever suffered by an army in Rocky Mountain. 7,000 men armed with rifles and machine guns pitted against the single fighting machine of the invaders from Mars. 120 known survivors. The rest strewn over the battle area from Grover's Mill to Plainsboro, crushed and trampled to death under the metal sheet of the monster, or burned to cinders by its heat. The monster is now in control of the middle section of New Jersey, and has effectively cut the state through its center. Communication lines are down through Pennsylvania to the Atlantic Ocean. Railroad tracks are torn and service from New York to Philadelphia discontinued except routing some of the trains from Allerton and Phoenixville. Highways to the north, south, and west are clogged with frantic human traffic. Police and army reserves are unable to control the mad flight. By morning, the fugitives will have swung Philadelphia, Camden, and Trenton. It is estimated to twice their normal population. Martial law prevails throughout New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania. This time, we take you to Washington for a special broadcast on the national emergency. The Secretary of the Interior.
Citizens of the nation, I shall not try to conceal the gravity of the situation confronting the country, nor the concern of your government in protecting the lives and property of its people. However, I wish to impress upon you, private citizens and public officials, all of you, the urgent need of calm and resourceful action. Fortunately, this formidable enemy is still confined to a comparatively small area, and we may place our faith in the military forces to keep them there. In the meantime, placing our faith in God,
There are
we
times
must
that I think
continue
Boy, do I breathe a lot easier knowing that thing is drink dead.
so that we may confront this destructive adversary with a nation united, courageous, and consecrated to the preservation of human supremacy on this earth. I thank you.
You have just heard the Secretary of the Interior speaking from Washington.
The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells, starring Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the air.
As I set down these notes on paper, I'm obsessed by the thought that I may be the last living man on Earth. I've been hiding in this empty house near Grover's Mill, a small island of daylight cut off by the black smoke of the rest of the world. All that happened before the arrival of these monstrous creatures in the world now seems part of another life. A life that has no continuity with the present. The journey of existence, the lonely derelict who pencils these words on the back of some astronomical notes bearing the signature of Richard Pearson. Look down at my blackened hand. Try to connect them with a professor who lives at Princeton and who, on the night of October 20th, glimpsed through his telescope an orange splash of light on a distant planet. My wife, my observatory? My world. Where are they?
What's up?
Did they ever exist? Am I Richard Pearson? What day is it? 2 days exist without calendars. This time passed and there are no human hands left to watch the clock. Writing down my daily life, I tell myself I shall preserve human history between the dark covers of this little book that was meant to record the movement of the stars. Write and live and live on its teeth. Find moldy bread in the kitchen, an orange not spoiled or swallowed. Keep watch at the window. Time to time I catch sight of a Martian above the black smoke. Smoke still holds the house in its black coil, but thanks to the hissing sound, and suddenly I see a Martian mounted on his machine, spraying the air with a jet of steam as if to dissipate the smoke. I watch in a corner as his huge metal legs nearly brush against the house. Ghosts by terror, I go to sleep. Morning. Sun streams from the window. Black cloud of gas is lifted and scorched meadows north into a black snowstorm. I venture to the house and make my way to a road with traffic. In their wrecked car, baggage will turn to blackened skeleton. Push on north. For some reason I feel safer trailing these monsters than running away from them. And I keep a careful watch. I've seen the Martians speed. If one of their machines steer over the top of trees, I'm ready to fling myself flat on the earth. Come to a chestnut tree. Chestnuts are ripe. 2 days I wander in a vague northerly direction through a desolate world. Finally I notice a living creature. A small red squirrel in a beech tree. I stare at him and wonder. He stares back at me. I believe at that moment the animal and I share the same emotion. Joy of finding another living being. Push on north. Find dead cows in a brackish field and beyond the charred ruins of a dairy and silo. Ain't standing guard over the wasteland like a lighthouse. Deserted as the sea. Astride the silo perches a weathercock. The arrow points north. North.
So, these two locations, the Charnel House and Evergreen Mills, almost one location, because Evergreen Mills is, it's in this big, sort of like a canyon almost, and there's guards everywhere on either side. It's like a big train yard.
Here, a rich warned people to evacuate the city as estimated in last.
Yeah, the mosquitoes are particularly vicious, aren't they? They're big this year.
Hudson River Parkway still kept open for motor traffic. Boys bridges Long Island, the dam. All communication with Jersey Shore closed 10 minutes ago. No more defense.
Oh, it's 3 o'clock.
Our army wiped out.
Yeah, tomorrow, when we reconvene,
Everything wiped out.
we will take care of these two locations here. And that's it for this side of the board. Except for this guy right here, Hollow Moors. I don't know how I missed that one. But,
Now I look down the harbor, all manner of boats.
I'm tired. I want to go to bed. So, we'll do these 3 locations tomorrow. Hallowed Moors, Charnel House, and Evergreen Mills. we have an opportunity to sneak in and have an environmental object take care of some of our work for us if we can get there and do it quietly. But really, we've got Fox, and it's more like we're going to be systematically taking down this train yard. Oh, man.
Rise like a line of new towers on the city's west side. Now they're lifting
But,
their hands. This is the end.
I'm starting to yawn. Let's turn in our bobblehead, because we did pick one of those up, chat for a little bit, and then we'll call it a night. I'm going to finish my beer while we're talking anyway.
Now the smoke's spreading faster. It's reaching Times Square. People are trying to run away from it, but it's no use. They're falling like flies. Now the smoke's crossing 6th Avenue. 5th Avenue. 100 yards away.
It appears you've been wounded, sir. May I suggest you utilize your infirmary?
Yes, thank you, sir. That is a great idea. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more bobbleheads to go. One more of the core ones, and then some of the perk. Or no. Yeah, some of the skill ones.
How may I serve you, master?
Laboratory, where's my infirmary? Over here. Alright. Heal thyself.
You are listening to a CBS presentation of Orson Welles and Mercury Theater on the Air, an original dramatization of the war.
Alright.
Performance will continue after brief intermission. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System. The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells, starring Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the Air.
We almost have enough for a full quota for another quest run. So they definitely gave you enough to fuck around with and still get the quest done.
All that happened before the arrival of these monstrous creatures in the world now. Life has no continuity in the present. Furtive existence of lonely derelict. Pencil these words on the back of some astronomical note bearing. Look down at my blackened hand. Try to connect them with a professor who lived at Princeton who on the night of October 20th glimpsed through his telescope an orange flash of light on a distant planet. My wife, my colleagues, my students.
Yeah, all my stats are 6 and above now, which is pretty good. Only thing left I have to work on are big guns.
Did they ever exist?
Barter and explosives.
Do days exist without
The other ones, like unarmed and melee, I don't really care about.
I know human hands left. Right.
And we have enough to, we've got 3 levels to go, so we've got enough to kill barter, medicine, probably explosives, put a decent amount into big guns, and then we can start stat dumping into melee and unarmed, so that we can play around with some of the melee perks before we get to the end. We still got a good ways to go on the XP, but we're doing okay. And, Herald of Tranquility, we are the about as good as we can get so far with Karma, so we're right on track, guys. I'm fairly ready, fairly happy with how things have gone off. The Vault 101 emergency frequency has activated, so we'll also have to go and check in on Amada and see how that goes.
Hey everybody, this is 3 Dog, your friendly neighborhood disc jockey. What's a disc? Hell if I know, but I'm gonna keep talking anyway. Here's the latest news. Unemployment is down, stocks are up, and the UN has just declared global peace forever. Now the real news. The boys and girls of the Brotherhood of Steel continue to fight. The good
Clang,
fight,
clang.
folks.
At
They've
least the
recently
DC
stepped
chapter.
up patrols in the downtown DC ruins in response to increasing
I also
sightings
claim
of
affiliation with
everybody's
the
favorite
New
freaks,
Vegas chapter,
the
but
super
only after a lot of
mutants.
work.
Without our
The
buddies
Boston
from the
chapter can go
Brotherhood,
fuck itself.
I'm guessing the entire Capital Wasteland
Except for
would have
the
been overrun a long time
there's a
ago.
few in the
So
Boston
if you see a
chapter that
knight
aren't
or a
too
paladin
bad.
out there fighting your battles for you, give them a big thanks. Or even better, some ammo. Thanks for listening, children. This is 3 Dog, ow! And you're listening to Galaxy News Radio. We're Radio Free Wasteland, and we're here for you. And now, some music.
Reach the outskirts of Newark, undemolished but pummeled by some whim of the advancing Martians. Presently, with an odd feeling of being watched, I caught sight of someone crouching in a doorway up on the step foot. Rose up and became a man armed with a large knife. Where'd it come from?
Sorry, everything fucking hurts right now.
Many places.
Like all across my shoulders and everything. It's a thing. Let's do one more. Let's do one dab to close things out, everyone. Thank you for joining me.
There's no food here. This is my country. All this end of town down the river. There's only food for one.
I'm gonna stay on Fallout 3 until like we finish the
People.
What's that?
the regular world locations. I think I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna get the regular locations done before I need a palate cleanse.
Get to know the birds have shadows these days. Hey.
We're doing Oblivion, and that can't happen.
Have you seen any Martians?
So we'll go in and we will take care of some of the main quest stuff for Oblivion, or something Cthulhu related. Maybe there's that whole town that's that's all like the deep ones and everything. I do want to kind of do that, but I also want to advance the main story. Or since I'm steeped in the the Thieves Guild stuff, maybe we go do some more Daedric quests, but also do some of the Oblivion Bead stuff and all that kind of good stuff.
Where were you? You're in a uniform.
And then I think we're going to go and Mothership Zeta, and then I think I might muster up the energy to start a new Cyberpunk. But I have no fears. We have quite a ways to go with Fallout before the end of Fallout 3. I'm just trying not to get bored too quickly. I'm also going to be looking for a new. We might see about Adam Punk, but I have a hankering for a particular style of game, and I haven't quite figured out which game, like new game, that I want to charge into. I really wish that I could share all of Space Marine 2 with you guys, but not until I can separate my gaming from my streaming, like at least so that I can game on one PC and stream from the other. Working on that. Because it just takes too much resources to play Space Marine 2 and to try to stream it to 3 different platforms at that. But my watch time has been going up, so we are advancing as a channel. I am making progress. And was it Merlin? You asked why I'm not doing memberships. Well, we're making our way, sir. As soon as I can do that on YouTube, and do super chats, and membership, all that kind of good stuff, then we will start doing some really cool stuff. I'll start implementing Discord, and we'll do things. We'll do some other things. Talking to some people that know more about the crunchier stuff.
Meantime,
as we speak.
You and I and others like us. Where are we to live? Martians on the earth.
Think about the cities. I'm in New York, miles and miles. And they think they're big enough land. And there's some balls. They got stores. Lovely. Got a bunch of strong men there. No weak. Not rubbish. Out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of my broadcast for this evening. Be safe, be happy, be healthy. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves. Make sure you drink lots of water. Stay away from the sugar. Love your friends, love your family. Don't take each other for granted. Tell your girl you love her. Or your man, you know. Just let him know.
Not a Martian in him. Not a Martian in him. But man learn the way how.
Let's end it like we usually do.
Imagine having one of them lovely things with the feet very wide and free. We turn it on Martians, we turn it on man. We bring everybody down on their knees.
That's your plan.
Like, subscribe, share, follow, all those things. Make sure you turn notifications on so you can know next time I go live. It's erratic right now, so like you want to catch me rambling, doing things on Fallout or any number of games that I'm playing, make sure you tune in. I love you guys. Be safe, happy, and healthy. And I will see you guys probably tomorrow. Have a good one. Peace.